Hey guys, I want to start off with a short verse from the Bible, 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. For 50 years, Protestant Christians, as well as Eastern Orthodox Christians being led by Catholic Christians, have fought the pro-life movement, have fought for the unborn, and we've had faith that if we turned from our wicked ways, if we repented of our sins, and we prayed and sought God, He would heal our land. And I believe the healing has begun. God has heard our cry, and we've seen it with the miracle of Roe v. Wade being overturned. But just like St. James tells us in the Bible, faith without works is dead. And many pro-life organizations worked very hard for this day. This is why I encourage you, please, if you are buying or selling real estate, go to realestateforlife.org. They contribute to so many good pro-life voices that get the message out, including mine. And I will never compromise on my belief that all life is sacred from conception to the grave, and we're called by God to protect it. Now, we're winning, so the left is getting nervous, and the left can never beat us with ideas. I mean, to be pro-abortion in 2022, you have to be a science denier. I'm using my phone and one of my kids are calling. I just got to swipe it out of the way. I apologize. So they cannot beat us on ideas, and they know they're about to be shellacked in the midterms. We're going to have a pro-life tsunami like never before. So they're resorting to deception, as they always do. Not because they think they can possibly win, but they're trying to stop the bleeding so they don't get beat too bad. Because like I've said before on this channel, and I'm still saying it, I'm predicting that the Republicans, at the end of the day, will have 53 senators, and the Democrats will have 47. In the House, the Republicans will have 245 congressmen and women, and the Democrats will have 190. It will be a mandate of the American people rejecting the socialism, the wokeism, and the extreme position the Democrats took on abortion this cycle. Well, that they've always taken, but they've been exposed. So now I'm going to get to their deception. So California, pro-abortion, socialist Gavin Newsom, the governor over there, is pushing Prop 1. Democrats want Prop 1. So right now, abortion is legal through 24 weeks in California, which is gruesome in itself when you've had babies born and survive as early as 21 weeks. Right here in Winnie Palmer, they've saved babies as young as 23 weeks on more than one occasion. So it's barbaric, it's gruesome, and it's extreme in the world, you know. The Democrats are really out of touch in the whole world. You know, out of 195 countries in the entire world, only 7 allow abortion past 12 weeks. California's double, and they're saying that's not enough. They want it through the whole 9 months of pregnancy. They want to be able to abort 8-9 pound babies. So Hillary, of course, being the pro-abortion warmonger queen that she is, tweets out, no matter where a person lives or how much money they have, because they want it to be free. They want the taxpayers to pay for these abortions as well. That's another point they want with this Prop 1. Women, not politicians, should be able to make decisions about their own lives. That includes abortion care and miscarriage management. California should vote yes on Prop 1. And then she shows a video, and it's like a propagandist video by the Democrats, and it shows when the Supreme Court decision came out, all the protesters outside, and it shows a woman crying hysterically, making it look like she's so sad she lost her right to kill her baby. Well, the woman in the video crying retweeted it. And thankfully, Elon Musk owns Twitter now, so they're not going to ban her like they do to pro-lifers. She wrote, "Hey, Hillary, I'm the girl crying in this video. I am pro-life, and those are happy tears because I just witnessed a miracle." So you see how the left tries to deceive us, but Hillary was quickly exposed for the fraud, fake, phony, evil woman that she is. Now, they are constant. I just want to give you a few examples of how to walk. 'Cause I've been watching the left for years. And like I said, they cannot beat us in arguments. They're the most uninformed electorate today more than ever. But liberals have always been easy to debate, in the workplace and, when I was in the Navy, whoever, if someone was a liberal, they were always easy to debate. And, honest, humble ones would say, wow, that's a good point. Some would get angry and just shut you down and start name calling. Today, unfortunately, it's like 90% of them will just name call you racist, homophobe, anti-woman, whatever. Whatever label they can think of. They make up new ones. Now it's, ableist, like because we don't want someone who had a stroke to go into Congress who can't even talk. We're against disabled people. But just give you a few examples in my lifetime of how the left tries to deceive us on abortion and how smart men and women have beat this argument. I remember when Donald Trump was running for president, and we had that cycle in the primary. I was like, wow, we've never had such a great field. And believe it or not, at I think it was 18 men and women, Donald Trump was my last choice. Marco Rubio in the beginning was my first choice. And I heard Marco Rubio on a talk show, like a Sunday morning talk show or something. And they were trying to say, well, you're extreme in your abortion position. You don't want any abortion you want any abortion. That's extreme. And Marco Rubio said, no, what I think is extreme is allowing abortion through the 9th month. Then they tried to pin Rand Paul on another. Rand Paul was also running. He was probably my second or third choice at the time. Rand Paul was running, and he said, I'm a doctor. Because they said, isn't your position extreme? You want, abortion totally outlawed. And he said, I'm a doctor. What the Democrats want is abortion through the 9th month. I think aborting an 8-pound baby is extreme. I'm a doctor. I've never done it. I would never do it. But I know how it's done because I'm a medical doctor. And it's barbaric. It's gruesome. You would have to censor me if I explained it to you on here. And I was like, wow, this is how we have to talk about it. It's a baby. Think about an 8-pound baby. This is what the Democrats want. But they have people deceived that, it's just when, at the beginning of pregnancy when there's just cells, which is evil in itself. But for someone who's not a Christian might be reasonable. But if you put in their face an 8-pound baby, and then eventually we all know Donald Trump won the primary, and I said, okay, I'm going to vote for him. I hope he's as conservative as he's saying he is. I was skeptical. It turned out he was the most pro-life president we ever had in our history. And he gave us the judges to overturn Roe v. Wade. But he also showed me how to fight these deceptive liberals. He called out Hillary in a debate because they were calling him extreme, about his abortion position, because he had taken the position that he wanted to overturn Roe v. Wade. And he said, well, ask my opponent. Hillary wants abortion to the 9th month and beyond. Ask her. And then Hillary, this is the first time I heard a Democrat admit to what they really want. She said, yes, I don't care if it's the 9th month. I don't care if the baby's born. It's between the doctor and the mother. And Donald Trump in his fashion was like, you hear that? But they think these Democrats are so conditioned, and they think that they got people on their side. They're so out of touch with reality. The reality of 70% of Americans do not want abortion past 12 weeks. I mean, as Catholics, it should be 100% no abortions. But I'm saying in the general population, most people think it's gruesome and barbaric to have abortions past 12 weeks. But the Democrats are coming out more and more talking about it. And again, I don't think they think they're going to win, but they want to stir up their base of useful idiots. And I don't call their base useful idiots as like even though it sounds derogatory, it's a saying the communists, I think it was Lenin or Stalin, used to describe college-age kids that they indoctrinated to get them to believe in communism, and then they just used them and they were useless. And then once the communist revolution was taken over, they thought they were going to be part of it, and they were the first ones lined up and shot. You know? But the useful idiots have been indoctrinated in our colleges. I mean, we know, based on the reporting of the Wall Street Journal and investigations by Senator Ron Johnson, that our major university accepts millions of dollars from the communist Chinese. Harvard itself has accepted over $100 million in donations. I think Yale was number 2 at like 90 million. So it's no accident that we have Marxist professors teaching our children that we just evolved, there's no God, and capitalism is evil. This is what these kids are indoctrinated. And my sons, a couple of them went to UCF, University of Central Florida. This is a state university in Florida. And they showed me the social media of all their professors. These weren't just like libs. These were hardcore communists quoting Mao and Stalin and Karl Marx on their Facebook page, not ashamed. These are the professors indoctrinating our children. So they come out with these bizarre thoughts, and they get angry if you try to tell them you can't kill your baby. I can kill my baby. They won't say that, but that's what they're demanding. And then you even have men demanding that their children, their daughters, should be able to kill their grandsons and daughters. It is bizarre, but this is the indoctrination over years. So we got to bring it out for what it is. It's murder. They want abortion through 9 months and beyond. And even way back before, I think it was in the 90s, it was in Illinois, and you may have heard the story of a nurse. She was an abortionist nurse, and the baby was accidentally born alive. So the doctor took the baby and tossed it in a trash can. And the nurse heard the baby gasping for air, trying to survive. And she picked up the baby, brought it to the doctor, and said, "Doctor, the baby's still alive. You need to treat it and save it." And the nurse said he could have saved it. But she said, "No, that one was marked for abortion. Put it back." And the nurse cried. She didn't know what to do. She just held the baby for 45 minutes and watched the baby die a painful death. And she told that story in front of the Illinois State Senate because she wanted to get a law passed to ban that practice. And they voted 99-1 to pass a law to protect babies like that, called the Baby Born Alive Act, I believe. But there was one state senator who voted against it, and his name was Barack Hussein Obama. President Obama is not only in favor through abortion through the 9th month, he's in favor of not saving babies. And Vice President Kamala Harris, when she was a senator, voted against a federal law that would save babies like that. So when we say Democrats are in favor of abortion through the 9th month and beyond, that's what we're talking about. And there hasn't been one Democrat on the trail who would deny. Raphael Warnock, who claims he's a preacher, who, by the way, between the money he gets for housing and his salary, makes over $200,000 a year preaching on Sunday, besides being a senator making $170,000 a year. Raphael Warnock was called out by Herschel Walker, and he would not deny that he's against that. He kind of sidestepped it because every Democrat, the Democrat platform, and they just follow lockstep. Whatever Schumer and Pelosi tells them to vote, they all vote the same. They all vote with Biden. And Joe Biden is such a sliver. Yesterday, I put a bunch of his lies, and I could go on for days. But I just got things I got to do with all his lies. I just quoted him with like crazy lies he does. He's just been the essence of a political hack. Just a political corrupt politician for 50 years. He's just old school corrupt politicians, and he will change with the wind. When the Democrats knew it was popular in their party to be racist, he said the most racist things, voted for the most racist laws. He said he didn't want he was against desegregation. He wanted to keep black and white schools apart, Joe Biden, and said, I don't want my kids to grow up in a racial jungle. And when abortion wasn't that popular, he was like, well, I don't want taxpayers' money to pay for abortion, but I want it to be safe and legal and rare. Now he's all out. He wants taxpayers' money to pay for not only abortion in America, but all around the world. He wants to import abortion. And he also wants it through the 9th month and beyond. He's supporting all these measures, like in California, that would allow it through the 9th month and beyond. And, you know, you've heard me talk on the show about Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger, Hillary Clinton said Margaret Sanger was her was an inspiration to her. She said she is so, I forget the word she used, but she said she was inspired by Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger basically was this great woman, was a hero to feminists. Hillary Clinton absolutely adores Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger is the founder of the Negro Project, a great book to read about her. And if you think she looks like the wicked witch from The Wizard of Oz, it's pretty funny because this is a very wicked woman, very evil woman with a very evil agenda. She's the founder also of Planned Parenthood. And the reason she founded Planned Parenthood, in Margaret Sanger's own words, while speaking at a KKK rally, she said she loved going to KKK rallies because they were so enthusiastic about what she had to say. The reason she said she started the Planned Parenthood was to exterminate the Negro race, because Negroes are like weeds and they need to be exterminated. She said, our plan is to put our clinics in black neighborhoods and encourage blacks that they're loving their families by killing their babies, her own words. And the way we're going to do this, we're going to get influential black people, reverends, and politicians to encourage. And you see today, Planned Parenthood, or as my black friends like to call it, Klan Parenthood, 90% of their clinics are in black neighborhoods. And they have black reverends who are millionaires, think about that, who don't even preach, like Reverend Al Sharpton and Reggie Jesse Jackson, supporting Planned Parenthood, telling people to vote Democrat because they'll allow you to kill your baby. Politicians like Barack Hussein Obama pushing Planned Parenthood, pushing abortion, and he's also filthy rich now, building mansions on beaches. What about climate change? But that's another story. And the results are in. Planned Parenthood has taken abortion to the next level, where the black population in this country at one point was 20%, it has declined to like 14%. African Americans are the only minority race that's in decline in population because the Democrats and Planned Parenthood are killing the black race. There's an actual black genocide happening in America today that the liberal media is ignoring. I go in the hood and I see billboards with young black women smiling, saying abortion is healthcare. In New York City, every year, more black babies are aborted than born. It's a brutal practice. This is very disturbing. And the deception is so evil. But the good news is people are waking up. The polls are showing that 26% of black Americans are voting Republican this cycle. That's unheard of. Republicans usually get 5 to 10% of the black vote. Hispanics, we're getting the majority of the vote. We're getting 49%. They're getting like 43%. And then there's, the difference is undecided. So we're winning. We're winning, but we got to keep fighting. That's why I keep telling you, go to realestateforlife.org. You're going to pay a commission anyway, so you may as well go with a strong Christian realtor who the commission and fees, part of it's going to go to pro-life organizations and zero is going to go to pro-abortion people, candidates or organization. We're in a culture war. The left, all these college kids that grew up indoctrinated, they're running companies. They're running them into the ground. That's why when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he fired 75% day one. And, I said it here. I don't want to brag, but I said it here like a year ago. We need a billionaire on our side. And then when I seen Elon Musk get mad at the censorship that was happening on Twitter because they took down the funny political satire, Babylon Bee, and that was like one of his favorite things to read because they're really funny. If you haven't seen it, these guys are the funniest guys that I've ever read or watched. Elon Musk was mad about that and said, you know what? I'm gonna buy Twitter. And then I get comments, well, he's not a Christian, he's not a conservative. I don't care. He's for free speech. Right now, we just need a level playing field where our ideas are not censored. And Elon Musk is a believer in free speech. Just like Joe Rogan's a liberal, but he believes in free speech. Even Bill Maher. A lot of these people on the left are waking up to the censorship on their side. And the more free speech we have, the greater chance that we're going to end this. And we're going to end it. It's going to end. I mean, just like slavery ended, people held on, when we tried to free the slaves. Oh, it's my right. It's my right that he's my property. They look at another human being as property, just like these, these feminists and the Marxists try and convince women that that's your body. It's not, unless you're a complete science denier. I mean, basic biology, there's a separate baby in there that feels pain. And abortion is extremely painful and barbaric and evil. Pope Francis says abortion is the gravest of mortal sin. You have an abortion, you're excommunicated from the Catholic Church. You support abortion and encourage abortion. You're excommunicated spiritually, automatically. They don't have to be an official decree from Rome. We have a visible church. We also have an invisible church. Our spirit and the Holy Spirit is in union with Christ. And that gets severed and separated when we do such mortal sins, and the gravest of all, abortion. So if you've been on the wrong side of this, you need to repent. You need to turn from your wicked ways and ask God to heal you, and he will. I was on the wrong side. He healed me. Many women were on the wrong side, and he healed them. This is how we're going to change the world. This is how we're going to change the perception, by people seeing the truth. And individuals, one by one, me and you, telling them the truth about abortion. And then when they turn from their wicked ways and God heals them, they're going to tell someone, and they're going to tell someone. And just like the Christians led the fight to end slavery in this country, it's the Christians that are leading the fight to end abortion. And just like the average person today, whether he's a Christian or an atheist or a Jew, he looks back at slavery and says, that is so evil. How could our country allow that for so long? One day, I promise you, we're all going to look back at abortion and say, that was so evil. How did our country allow that for so long? So don't give up hope. Keep fighting. Like I said, we're going to have a huge red tsunami, and 90% of these Republicans, maybe 99% of them, are strong pro-life Christians. Pro-life politicians, rather. I don't know everybody's faith. They're pro-life politicians. So we're going to have a strong pro-life wave. This is coming. I guarantee you. There's going to be surprises in governorships. I'm predicting. I could be, I'm not a prophet, so if I get it wrong, it's just my prediction is based on experience and experience. Michigan's going to see the biggest upset in history. Whitmore is going down. Tudor Dixon will win that battle in Michigan. And I'm even calling New York for Republicans. I know a lot of New Yorkers that aren't conservative, but they're fed up with the lunacy of the left in New York, the way they ran it during the pandemic, and the way they're allowing crime rampant. I mean, you could literally hit someone over the head with a hammer and be out the same day because they don't believe in bail. So they think bail is racist in New York. So I see an upset there. The governor there is about to lose to a Republican. And I see Oregon a big upset. This is huge, you know. These are huge upsets. And speaking of getting hit in the hammer, I just want to pray for Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi. I know we vehemently disagree with her on politics, but this isn't about politics. You know, an 82-year-old man gets hit over the head with the hammer. It makes me mad. And if I was there, I would have defended this man. I pray that he heals up and that the man who did this is put away for a long time. Now, unfortunately, the left, the media, they will twist this and say this is violent Republicans. When this guy, the fact is, this guy's a homeless man who was here illegally, but San Francisco, where this happened, is a sanctuary city, so they won't deport illegals, even though he has a record. He has a rap sheet with like felonies. He should have been deported. But because of the laws that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats support in San Francisco, he was there. So this wasn't a political issue. This was a crime issue that came to the home of Nancy Pelosi. So they're spinning it. I heard CNN, I heard CBS, I heard NBC talking about, the political violence on the right. It has nothing to do with political violence. You know, you maybe remember years ago when the Bernie Sanders supporters shot up the Republican baseball team because he said he hated Republicans. I was telling a friend the other day, he goes, I don't remember that. I'm like, exactly, because the news really didn't report that this guy was a Bernie Sanders supporter. They really let the story go. But he almost killed Representative Scalise. Almost killed him. He was in the hospital in intensive care for a long time. You know? And then Discovery Channel. This guy went in and shot up the Discovery Channel, and the news was reporting that probably a right-wing zealot, a climate control denier, and it turned out to be an environmentalist wacko who didn't think Discovery Channel was doing enough for the environment. It was a leftist, and that story died. So it's a tragedy when anyone gets hurt, assaulted, but let's not politicize it, and even our side, let's not politicize it on our side either. That was a horrible thing. Nothing else to say about it. An 82-year-old man getting hit with a hammer, very disturbing, very disturbing. I wish I was there. I'd have kicked the dude's butt who had the hammer in this guy. But luckily they caught him, and hopefully they'll put him in jail. So God bless, stay Catholic, and vote. Let's run up the number. Don't think, we're going to win anyway. I'm not going to vote. No. We want to run this number up. We want it to be like a football game where it's 100-0 to show that we reject abortion extremism. We reject censorship. We reject socialism. We're proud Americans, and we believe in freedom for everybody, including unborn children made in the image of God. God bless. Stay Catholic.